when we started in December, really, we obviously selected the new EPS squads with a view to the future. And we see this tour very much as an extension of that. We went through the Six Nations, and those players served us well. We see no reason to sort of deviate from that philosophy. You know, we put a lot of time and effort into developing those players, and like I say, we've now got an opportunity, particularly with the midweek games, to take an extra group of players to complement that. And fortunately for myself, you know, I've seen a lot of them and worked with a lot of them in the Saxons coming through the programme. The South Africa tour itself is a huge challenge, there's no doubt about it, but it's also a fantastic opportunity. I've made a couple of points that I think England rugby will benefit from by going on this tour. The first is to actually put ourselves in a position where we're exposed to real pressure, and clearly going there, as the Lions will testify a couple of years ago, you know, it's going to be massively challenging. But it's about adapting to that pressure and building what I would describe as team toughness. So a toughness in the team that will see us through you know, future challenges that come our way. Another point is actually managing that sort of tour and that tournament environment, if you like. I know it's not a tournament, but managing that tour and the goldfish bowl that comes with that, and the experience that the players will gain from that will be invaluable. It gives us a chance to look at the depth of our players, and finally, and probably most importantly for us as coaches, it gives us a chance to work with the players and a wider group of players, because you can watch as many games as you like, but ultimately there's nothing beats working with players. Part of the equation was taking the right number of players, so to speak. So we're taking 42. We want to make sure we've got enough players to make sure we're covered, so we're not compromising the preparation of the test team, but not so many that players don't get enough game time during the midweek games. And obviously positionally, that's relatively specific as well. So we've got a broad squad, we've got some really exciting players in there that we're looking forward to working with. You know, from our point of view, can't really wait to get the tour started. The thinking behind Danny Kerr's selection, I think I said at the last press conference, was in order to be a player, an England player on the field, you've got to be able to lead yourself off the field. And Danny needed to reassure me, or all players need to reassure us as coaches, that they can lead themselves off the field well. And I met Danny a couple of weeks ago, and pleased with the progress he's made and maturity is now showing off the field. And as you say, it's a great opportunity for him, but equally he knows he's treading a very fine line. But I trust him enough and know him well enough. We need to make sure that we give everyone an opportunity to get in the test team, but equally we've got to look at what happened in the Six Nations. So the likes of Danny, you know, he knows that Ben Youngs and Lee Dixon are playing pretty well at the moment, so he's going to need to get ahead of them. And James is coming in with other players, you know, such as Phil Dowson and Ben Morgan and Chris Robshaw, who've played pretty well also. So part of the dynamic also for James particularly is getting him up to speed. He'll arrive probably on the Sunday before the first test, which isn't fantastic in terms of preparation time. We have some players available now. Their seasons are finished, and we've got other players who are involved in the semi-finals, and another group that will finish after this weekend and will involve in the Barbarian Games. So the timeline of what will happen over the next 3 weeks will have a big bearing, and we might pick up 1 or 2 injuries along the way as well, I'm sure. So things will change as they always do. You know, our sort of mindset will be, first of all, to get a group of players together after the Viva Premiership final and the Barbarians game, and get that sense of team and team spirit, and work on the technical and tactical cohesion that we need. You know, and if we get the foundation right, you know, everyone in the right place, making sure it's a one-team tour. You know, this isn't a test team and a midweek team over here. And with 42 players, we've got that dynamic to manage. But certainly speaking to the players over the last 24, 48 hours, Graham and I have rang them all, and you know, there's no messages we're receiving back in terms of, well, it's been the end of a long, hard season. Players are excited to go. You know, we're excited to take them. So it'll be get ourselves ready, and then obviously the first test will be coming around the corner, and that's all our focus will be. Yeah, I think for me, attitude, energy, emotion, discipline should be a given for an England team now, to be honest. And we work very hard on our on-field and off-field discipline, to be fair. And what we've tried to redo and we'll have to reduce is our penalty count. So that's not just about Dylan, that's about the whole 15 or 22 or 42, to be honest. Yeah, Stefan was considered, as was a whole host of players that we ran yesterday to inform that they weren't picked. And you know, I've been in contact with Toulon to get their views on it. But the reality was, Toulon are probably going to definitely make the semi-final, which is the 2nd of June, and probably the final, which is the 9th of June. And it makes it very difficult I think we've said before, to try and involve players who are not abroad. But we've also got, and I'll caveat that with also, we've got Carl Fearns and Tom Johnson. Carl Fearns, highly recommended and regarded by everyone I speak to about, including Ian McGeechan, particularly Ian McGeechan to be honest, in terms of what he'll bring to the party. And also someone like Tom Johnson, who I had in Saxons last year, who plays at 6 for Exeter, but because the balance of James Scaysbrook himself has played for 7 for us as well, and is, I think, the top carrier in the Premiership bar Thomas Waldron, or with Thomas Waldron. So we want to get the balance right. We did consider Stefan, but equally, this is the way we've gone, and he's not forgotten by a stretch of imagination, as aren't other players who are over there, but it does make it more complicated to try and pick up.